So, all right, thank you. So some of you have already done theta before. Some actually seem like you're into energy healing. That's why you're curious. Um, Mira is actually one of my students. She's like, she wants to get back on track. Because, yeah, so sometimes it's okay because sometimes we lose alignment. You could do a course and you know the material, but you just get back into sometimes your old habits. So it's nice to have refreshers and reminders. That's generally one of the reasons we, like it's good to be surrounded or have a support group that is on the same level. All right. So also I would like to know actually, let's see. Is there something that you're looking for? Is there anything that you feel you're needing answers to or you're looking for currently in your life? So or what made you actually curious about like an energy healing? What are you looking for? What is your need? Okay. Burnout. Anybody having any questions, anxiety, depression, or financial blocks you're experiencing, relationship issues? What is like, if you think about your life as like that wheel, right? So if you think about your life in that wheel in terms of work, purpose, in terms of, love, relationship, finance, what else is there? Family, fun stuff. So which area of your life do you feel you're experiencing generally blocks, or you feel like you're stuck, you can't progress, or you feel like you really need a shift? Okay, bad thoughts. Abundance. Cool. So it's like financial blocks. Okay. All right. So theta healing is actually more like an umbrella, and it has like specific techniques underneath it that create the completion of theta healing. So I'll explain like specific parts. So one of the healing modality methods that you learn in the theta healing course, the basic course that I'm actually giving on the 22nd until the 24th of January, is something called instant healing. Instant healing we actually apply when someone has like a physical disorder. It's like if they have a migraine, if they have backache, if they have even cancer, even if they have diabetes. So any physical disorder, you actually can send instant healing to. And how we do that is we connect to source energy. Source is like universal consciousness. It's the energy of unconditional love. And for people that come from a specific religion, often you can connect this to the most divine energy. So the most divine energy of source, is the energy of unconditional love. So only when we can actually connect to that pure energy, we can start doing healings from that state. I'm sure you understand that when we are in a state of judgment or in a state of anger, it's sometimes harder to, for the energy to connect to it and to send healing to someone generally doesn't really work. So what you learn in the course is how to connect to that universal energy and how to send energy healing, and either to a person that's nearby or to a person that's at a physical distance, or most importantly to yourself, because generally that's how the healing journey starts. We start healing ourselves, and as we start healing ourselves, you notice that you have specific gifts and abilities, and then you get your life on track, and then suddenly this need comes for some people that they now want to contribute to others. So, and I've seen that happen often enough to know that that's kind of the way it goes. We start with self-healing and then it moves to wanting to heal others. So instant healing is one aspect. Like I use it when I have a migraine or whatever happens in my body. But so I'm sure you've also heard of situations where you send healing to someone and sometimes people don't heal. So what we say to that is, if a person is receptive and they believe and feel deserving of a healing, actually that healing will heal them. Sometimes a healing doesn't happen when a person has a block. And these are like blocks are like belief systems or subconscious blocks that you feel like you're not deserving, you don't believe in it. or you feel like you need to still remain sick. And if the sickness is serving a person, then sometimes we have to apply something else called belief work, where we start digging into the subconscious mind to find the block that's blocking the healing energy coming in, so that we can resolve this and then the person can receive healing. The other aspect of Theta Healing is one of my favorite parts is belief work. So I want you to think about your life like this, your reality, right? So you go to work, or maybe you don't have work, maybe you have a family, maybe you have kids. So your reality is what we say, you're the creator of it. And your reality is a reflection of your belief systems. So what are belief systems? Belief systems are convictions of truth that you have accepted at some point in time. So it's a statement of truth. It's like, is when a person says God is one, okay? That's their religion, and they say God is one. That's a belief system. And then maybe someone from another religion says God is three. And then what happens, this person's belief system and this person's belief system goes against each other, and you can look at the world, right? It's a clash of belief systems. But what happens is we all have belief systems, core belief systems that we don't only have about God. We have about money, whether money is positive or negative, whether money is corrupt, whether money, maybe there's never enough of money. Maybe you have a belief system that says that money makes people evil. Maybe you have a belief system that says that, you know, when you were growing up, you have been exposed to a financial experience, right? We all of us have been. So when you're growing up in your home, you already from the ages 0 to 7 are exposed to an experience about what money means. And the age 0 to 7 is that's the time when most of your belief systems, a lot of your belief systems are actually being created. And it's like programs, they become part of the subconscious mind, and then you start living life and creating life from that coding. Just like Word, PowerPoint, think about Adobe Acrobat has their coding and they function from that coding. Our coding is like our belief systems. And we function from that coding. And based on that coding, we make choices, we create habits, we take action, we see life, perceive life a certain way, and energetically we attract precisely based on what these belief systems are. Because that's what you think truth is. And whatever you believe truth is what your reality will bring to you. So imagine you growing up in a home and parents were always fighting about money. Or maybe you were only just having enough for that month, or there was always a lack. So even though right now you feel very positive about money, you'll be like, Hamdan, no, this is not true. I feel very positive about money. I love money. I want money. But if your programming is done a certain way and you have belief systems that encourage lack or that encourage struggle, then often you will keep creating that kind of reality to you. So if we want to change your financial reality, we have to shift your belief systems about money at a subconscious level. Same thing with love. So imagine you're growing up with parents fighting, or you're growing up with abuse, you're growing up with, so your first ideas about love are also formed in childhood. And then based on that, you know, you have belief systems whether you are worthy of love. Some people have belief system that they are not good enough and they have to say achieve in order to be loved, or they have to do ABC in order to receive love. And unless you look a certain way, unless you have a certain grades, unless you make a certain amount of money, you're never going to be good enough. And if you're not good enough, you're never going to find love. And even if you find love, then you're going to be in this internal battle within yourself because you still feel like you're not good enough, and it creates insecurities. So that's what would need healing then. Sometimes people are very good at giving love, but not so good at receiving love. So they attract relationships where it feels like they're always the one making all the effort. They're the drivers of the relationship. And then even if you think about a different area, so for example, procrastination, it can be another one of those habits. that are quite limiting and then that might need healing. So in terms of theta healing, we actually look at any area of your life that you feel like you would like to change. So that's really the question that we start to ask at the start of a session. What would you like to change? Because we know if you want to change something outside of you, we've got to change something inside. Because outside is a reflection of what's going on here. And when I say here, I'm talking about the mind. The mind, to simplify it, consists out of two parts, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. So the conscious mind is what we are in right now. So when I'm talking, when I'm reading, when I'm going about my day, it's the part of my mind that I'm aware of. But the subconscious mind is the part of our mind that we are unaware of. So that's why I'm saying, even consciously, you might say, but I feel very positive about money. So I don't understand why I always experience lack. Then I can guarantee you on a subconscious level, you have a negative belief system about money, which would have been formed at an earlier time in your life. So next, let's think. So then in order to change that, right? In order to change, we have to kind of dig into the subconscious. And in theta healing, there's a technique for that. And that's what you learn in the course, how to shift the brainwave to a theta brainwave. And that becomes the brainwave when you're in a most receptive state. And theta is also the brainwave that is used in hypnosis. But theta is different to hypnosis because in theta healing, you're still very aware. You're still very aware, very conscious. Although you're conscious, we are accessing, you know, an earlier time in your life where something happened or where a belief system was formed so that we can reprogram that and so that we can also process emotions that were stuck or repressed at that time. And that's what the healing really means, where we're processing emotions, we are releasing trapped energies and trapped emotions so that you can feel more life force through you, because it takes a lot of energy to repress trauma, to repress a negative experience, for you not to be able to access a memory. That takes a lot of energy in the body, and the body does that as a protection. So it suppresses memories, it suppresses trauma. And the moment that we start doing healing work, we access these traumas and we access these suppressed energies and emotions, and we process it. And as it's processed, a lot of energy is released. And as a result, you return to greater vitality and greater wellness. So we often see, by doing this type of healing, people with specific diseases or immune disorders even, or even mental conditions, or that feel really stuck, actually start feeling better. You know, another issue can be, you know, purpose. You know, you might feel lost in your purpose. Sometimes people are in jobs that they hate and they don't like, but they think, well, that's what life is. You just work to make money, and that's the money you need to survive. That's a belief system. You know, you can actually do the kind of work that you like, that you love, that gives you meaning and purpose. So, but in order to do that, we have to shift the belief. So in the course, we talk about that. You also learn how to manifest. With manifest, we mean bring into your life and into your reality what you want. And there is a question about, like, how do we unlock bad thoughts? So the Theta Healing course could work with that also, because every time that we do belief work, which means like reprogramming a belief system, because bad thoughts are coming from somewhere, right? Negative thoughts, limiting thoughts, they're coming somewhere. So thoughts is more like on the surface. And then at a deeper level, it's belief systems. So for us to resolve the thoughts, we need to kind of see which belief systems you have about yourself or about life that are creating these thoughts and emotions. So maybe if you have been brought up to learn that the world is an unsafe place, it's very natural to have negative thoughts about other people or about the world. So then you see the world in a negative way. And as a result, however we perceive the world is what creates our chemistry. So then you start feeling pretty shitty because the world is an unsafe place, or is a shitty place. So now we don't only think negative, we also start feeling negative because it's all connected. And that's what I wanted to say earlier on about, like, when I was talking about mind consisting out of the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind is actually about 90% of all of your functioning comes from the subconscious. So can you imagine the conscious mind, the talking, the part of yourself that you're aware of is only about 8 to 10% of your functioning. So when you, and that's the reason when someone says they decide today, tomorrow I'm going to start a diet, that's a conscious decision. But you're going up against that 90% of the subconscious mind that has all the habits formed in them that go against that decision that you've made consciously. So you will probably, with your willpower, you probably last a few days, but then the subconscious programs will come and take over, because it will always override your subconscious programs, as in belief systems, will override your conscious decisions. Majority of the time, almost always. So if you want to create lasting change, you need to enter the subconscious mind and see which belief systems, programs, habits you have, where it's coming from. We need to resolve things. We have to heal trauma. We have to go into like events that create a specific belief system so that we can shift things around. And then new habits are formed in the subconscious. So we're downloading information straight into the subconscious so that after a session, you can already start thinking and feeling differently. And it works in a very subtle way. Like 3 days later, suddenly you make a different decision. The automatic decision of choosing A changes to an automatic decision for choosing B. And by doing it more often, by choosing B, you're rewiring your brain. Now that becomes more automatic. So by consistently taking action, repeated action of the new behavior, we are strengthening the wiring, the belief, you know, the belief system, the behavior that is going to create lasting change. And that's, so actually really Theta Healing course is about creating change. Healing really means we are returning back to our most authentic self, first of all. Secondly, to be able to create the changes that bring you back to your authentic self and your most authentic expression. And also returning to wellness and vitality and purpose and fulfillment, joy and meaning. Then I've already answered the question about abundance. So yeah, abundance belief systems, they're blocked. So that's like belief systems about money. But I'll be honest with you, a lot of the times our belief systems about money has a lot more to do with our self-esteem. So the more you feel deserving of a certain income, the greater the possibility of you getting that income. And what we often find, like you'll know this when you've ever had a job interview, and when the interviewer actually asks you, and how much do you expect to get paid for this? You know, what is the income you want to have? If you clinched and cringed and it felt uncomfortable, you need to ask yourself why. Because then it's how you find yourself worthy of that income. So if you're struggling with saying actually what you want, it means subconsciously you don't feel you're deserving or worthy of that income. So there is a discrepancy happening with your inner self-image versus what you want your external reality to give you. So if you want that income, you need to change this, what's going on in terms of what you feel deserving and why you have that negative self-image or a sense of unworthiness, you know, why, or lack of value to your skills, to your abilities. And often, like, there was actually research about it that women struggle with this more, because for men, they'll probably even often, they'll state that the amount that might be more than, you know, what their skills are actually matching. Whereas the women sometimes like devalue. And in the research, they were saying that one of the reasons why women carry also so much shame about stating what they want financially is because the last time they did that, it was linked to prostitution. So in ancestors, you know, like these are almost like what we carry with us on a genetic level. So I have a question here. Can we apply Theta Healing to our kids? Yep, 100%. But the thing is, as a mother, as you're changing yourself and you're shifting your belief systems, your kids actually start changing with you. Because the reason for that is, especially really young kids, they have a very symbiotic relationship with the parents, especially the primary caregiver, like the mother. So it's like there's no full identity yet, right? So they don't have a full sense of self yet. So it's like they're responding to the mother. They're responding to the energy. So if a child is acting out or has a negative habit, generally, even as practitioners, we work on the parents. So even if the kid has a disease, we as practitioners often work on the parents. So what is going on in the house or with the parents that the child is responding like this? The beautiful thing is, if a child is between the ages 4 to 7, so that's when you are primarily in a theta brainwave, which means you're absorbing everything you are hearing and seeing. Your belief systems are being formed in. So you don't actually need to do a healing session on your child. It's how you are is already becoming their coding. So you just shift how you speak to them. You just shift how you treat them. Yeah. But what you can do with a kid between the 4 to 7 years, you can teach them that they are healers. Do you know some of the best healings I have received were from little kids? It's like there have been times that I took, the child of one of my students as a student also. So I started teaching, say a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old or 9-year-old about healing. And then if I had a migraine, I would tell the girl, I was like, can you put your hand on my head and send me healing? And she would do it and my headache would actually be gone. Because you know what kids don't have? The self-doubt that generally we have developed later on. So the kid doesn't go, healing doesn't exist. The kid doesn't say, doubt themselves. They still believe in magic. They believe in miracles. So they believe they can heal. So when they send their healing, it actually works a lot of the time. So it's like, I find it's very interesting. If you have kids, teach them healing and that they're healers. Anything else? So also in the basic course, we actually cover something called soul fragments. Soul fragments, energetic divorce. Energetic divorce is like energetic cord cutting. That means if you've had an intense relationship with someone, whether it was in terms of love, romance, or family, or somebody died, you sometimes leave some of your life force with them, or they might have left it with you. That's what we call soul fragments. And it's one of the reasons when the separation has happened, if you still obsessively think about them, it means that you're energetically still connected. So what we need to do in that case is exchanging soul fragments, and we need to do energetic cord cutting, and you learn that, how to do that in the basic course. Yeah, I told you learn about manifesting. You learn about one of my favorite things that is such a game changer is something called feeling downloads. So we assume that everyone is capable of feeling everything, but actually they're not. Do you think everyone is capable of feeling joy? Some people are not. Do you think everyone is capable of feeling peace? They're not. Some people are very capable of feeling anger and miserable and self-pity. They might not actually have learned what empathy feels like, what compassion feels like, what accountability feels like. And you see what happens when people don't know what accountability or responsibility feels like. They keep blaming everybody else. And as long as you don't take accountability for your actions, you can't grow, you can't change. So even accountability as a feeling, as a lesson, is so important in our evolution. So then what happens is we can rewire a person to feel feelings they have never felt. So if someone that is always angry, compulsively angry, or compulsively triggered, compulsively sad, compulsively feeling low, we say, okay, so sure, that's your chemistry at the moment, that's your wiring at the moment, but we can heal this. We can change this. We can rewire this. So what we do is we actually teach you how to rewire your brain and how to change your chemistry by something called feeling downloads, where you learn how to download into yourself, into your subconscious, specific feelings like joy and like confidence. So if before you go on an interview, you can download yourself with confidence, or before you go somewhere, you can download yourself with kindness. You can download yourself with assertiveness. Maybe you feel like everybody's walking all over you. Maybe you need to learn how to stand up for yourself, maybe how to hold your ground. Or maybe you can even learn how to speak up and how to speak your truth. So these are all the things that we can help you learn and grow into and rewire that within you. And we can change your chemistry as a result of that. And your chemistry, I'm talking about the biochemistry. And your chemistry is involved in how you feel, right? So if you're waking up also in the morning and you feel tired, you feel down, low, you know, that those are some other things you need to look at, because you can feel better. I have a question here. Are there periods in our life where our belief systems have stronger impact on us, and why? Yes. So the thing is, it's not particularly that one at a specific time there's a stronger impact than another time. Sometimes what happens is you can have dual beliefs. So dual beliefs is you might have a belief that, say, so it's like the positive and the negative belief you can have. And then at different points in your life, you have validation for the positive and the negative experience. So for example, you might have a belief that you're unattractive or that you're fat, and you might have a belief that you're beautiful. So at a different point in life, you might actually feel really down about yourself, or I look like shit, I feel fat, I feel this, I feel that. And another point in your life, suddenly you feel like, oh, actually, I do look good. I look beautiful. So it's like the environment can trigger a different response. But the only reason why your environment was able to trigger that response is because that belief system, that seeds, were already inside of you. If the seed wasn't there, that response couldn't have been created. And the seeds are your belief systems and your traumas and your experiences, past experiences, your conditioning. So, yeah, so it's like, yeah, I think that probably explains it. Yeah, the answer to your question really is that the environment, our external experiences, but also like internal environment can trigger a specific reaction. So for example, if you have a boss that is criticizing you all the time, that can trigger you. That can, you know, somebody else might be like, meh. Actually, the same boss might be very nice to a colleague, might be very critical to you. The same person. So it can create the question, why are they nice to them and not so nice to me? You know, so people sometimes think, oh no, it's because he's a racist, or no, he doesn't like this. But you know, a lot of the times it's your own energy. Whether the person is a racist or not, it's still your own energy. You're still attracting a specific behavior because they think they can do that. So you have a belief system that matches that treatment. So that's like the person that is abused, say in childhood, and not just sexually, but maybe mentally abused or emotionally abused, right? Maybe has been criticized all the time. Maybe has been put down all the time. Oh, you won't, you know, you're nothing. You won't add up to anything. Blah blah blah, right? So that trauma creates a specific frequency, almost like an energy cluster in you that sends its own sing-song into the universe. And based on that, you will attract and meet people that match that. The same person might not do that to someone else because they actually, in their field, this person knows they're not going to accept it. And if they do it, there's going to be consequence. But maybe the person who is abused still doesn't know how to draw boundaries, still has a belief that this is what they deserve, this is how it's always has been. They don't know anything better sometimes, that this is the normal behavior. They're almost expecting it. Then that energy will attract the behavior of abuse, of criticism. So you want to even change the behavior in someone else, you got to change you. So that's what Theta Healing is based on. What is it in me that is attracting that, but not from a self-blame type of place, but more from an accountability place. Is there any accountability I can take for this? Why am I still constantly experiencing this, right? If you constantly have someone that is critical or abusive, then you kind of have to ask yourself, why am I only attracting people who are like this? And what is it in me that tolerates this, that thinks this is normal? Because someone else might have either not attracted that person into their life, so vibrationally they don't even attract it. Secondly, even if they did attract it, they would not tolerate it. They would say something about it. They would create a boundary. They would say, get out of my face, right? They will speak up. They will speak out. And as you keep speaking up and speaking out and you're creating that boundary, you're kind of also communicating to the universe, don't send me any more of this because I will bust his balls. You know what I mean? So that is how we take charge of our reality. We kind of go within and we say what within is creating that. And is there anything I can do to shift it? Thanks, Raisa. All right, so let's see. Any other questions? Bring it. So let me think. What else are we covering? What else are we covering? There's so much. We talk about soulmates. We talk about twin flames. We talk about divine life partner and the difference between them. I think, you know, the most important thing really is returning back to your essence. Because the closer you get to your natural essence, to who you were before the world told you who to be, who are you really? Who are you? Deep down. If you come back to that, and if we can help you healing, coming back to that, and then you start realizing again what your values are, what your needs are, what your wants are, what you enjoy doing, what brings, you know, pleasure to you, building that relationship to yourself. And then from that point, you start working on things outside of you. You know, I always think the first step is always fixing this, right? How are you relating to yourself? What is your relationship to yourself? What is the difference between entitlement and having high expectations and believing good things come to you? So that's the difference between entitlement and having standards. So entitlement is saying, you owe this to me. You owe this to me, you know? And it's like, out of nowhere, you feel like the world owes you. Funny enough, it's actually people that feel quite victimized. I've seen that if you feel quite victimized, you can actually form a sense of entitlement because you've already suffered. So now the world owes you. Standards is more like coming from an inner place and it's more healthy. It's saying like, what am I truly deserving, you know? And what can I do to do the right thing by me? So then instead of saying to the other person, you owe me this, 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 rather you are kind of like saying, you're getting to know yourself and you understand what you need in order to maintain your sanity, in order to maintain your health, in order to maintain your wellness. So it's coming from a place of self-love and self-care. Whereas the other one can be sometimes a bit more toxic. It's like, you know, you owe me. You know, it's like that kind of energy. Yeah. So it's very healthy it's really good to have standards, but you can communicate your standards. You know, your standards are kind of like, you don't even have to communicate sometimes in your words. Your standards are communicated in your actions. It's in the choices that you make. So if someone is showing a specific behavior that you feel like is below your standard, when you can actually say to the person, like, this is not a good match for me, or this is not what I want. Or you can communicate it, or sometimes it's like in the choices that you make, you already show it to the person. So, and I think your standards, you also communicate by how you treat yourself. You see, like, how do you treat yourself? How do you take care of yourself? What are the choices that you're making for yourself? What do you feel you're worthy? And what are you giving to you? And when other people see how you are giving to you, they tend to match that standard, you know, because you're not going to accept less than that anyway, because you don't accept it from yourself. So why would you accept it from someone else? You know? So the more I respect my own time, that's one thing. I'll give you an example. At the start of my healing you know, when I moved into healing and everything. At the start, I wanted to, like, I was overdoing everything and I was overgiving all the time, you know, because I thought that's what it meant to be a healer or a facilitator. And I was going above my time and beyond my energy, and I was overgiving. Do you think people were actually respecting that? No, they started to become entitled. They almost expected it the next time, that I was going to be giving double the time and double the energy and double everything. The moment I started respecting my own time and I created more boundaries and say, okay, well, the session is this amount of time or this amount of presence or whatever it is, the more I started, not just with my healing, but also like even in my friendships, in everything, the more I started respecting my own time, the more I noticed people respecting my time also. And I didn't even have to communicate that. So in your energy, it just becomes, we communicate so much already non-verbally. So I would say just shift what you give to you, and then people's response will change. Will Theta Healing done us affect us on our twin flame energy, and is cutting cords with them possible? Yeah, so what Theta Healing will take care of is wounding. So sometimes you're attracted to someone because and you may think it's a soulmate or a twin flame because it's so strong. But if it is like addictive, if it is like, oh my God, so toxic, and I want to get away and I can't get away, and I just keep coming back, and it's like, oh, you know, that we call it chorba. It's like soup with everything in it. So if it's that kind of energy, it's very easy to confuse that for like soulmate, twin flame, and they can still be a soulmate, but not a very compatible one, obviously. But what happens is it's a wound. So people have different types of wounds. Some people have a wound of rejection. Other people have like a wound of abandonment. So your wound of abandonment, I'm going to be left behind. This person is going to leave me, you know, or this person is going to cheat on me, or this person is going to choose for somebody else. And that wound can attract somebody else that has a matching wound. And then you just end up playing, and that matching wound is being controlled. My freedom is taken away. So one person is fearing that person is going to leave me, so they're trying to cling. And the other person's wound is I'm being controlled, and they're trying to move away. It's a wounding. And that kind of connection is so intense, and it releases all this dopamine. So it's so addictive because you have very highs and you have very lows. And when it's good, it's so good. When it's bad, it's so bad. I'm sure a lot of you know what I'm talking about. So what happens with that kind of connection, though, when you start healing the wound, the part of you that is afraid of being abandoned, then actually the person that was triggering that might not be a match anymore. You won't have that crazy attraction and thing that overtakes over. It will be more stable. It will be more secure. And then if their soul contract was only to help you heal that, then they may leave you out of your life. But if the soul contract between you two was to remain together, regardless of whatever, then you will still remain together. Only the relationship will have evolved to a next level where there's less wounding and more compatibility. Gee, I like that. That was a good one. All right, next. And cutting cords, is it possible? You should always cut cords with everyone anyway, because if you don't cut cords, have you ever noticed that when you're in a relationship, with someone, that you're so connected to them that you almost know what they're thinking or where they are. So if they're even doing something like not so very honest, you're like, something is going on. I know something isn't feeling right. This is the reason, because energetically we're so connected. You know, everything is so connected, and especially if you have sex with someone and if you kiss with a person, there's so much DNA exchange that happens. They're actually exchanging information with each other. Your energies become entangled. So it's very possible that you can actually sense them, what's going on there, and they can sense you. But there are also beautiful explanations that one has like a headache in another country and the other one has a headache too. Like there are those type of connections. But it can be unhealthy because it can create codependency, entanglement. It will suck a lot of your energy. And the problem with that is if you're a creative person, if you're a creator, meaning like you are using your energy to have creative projects, you're creating a project, you're having your own business, you want to attract opportunities, possibilities, you want to attract that. So that's the sacral chakra, it's the sexual chakra as well. That energy you actually need to fix your own life. But what you're doing with all this life force is you're feeding it into another person. And sometimes we even feel that the other person's life is that can be improving, and even their abundance and finances are improving, where yours is staying the same or going down. That can even sometimes happen. So it's actually healthy to cut cords, to do soul fragment exchange, because we need to stay sovereign within our own energy field. And you can connect to someone through the heart without having the entanglements, right? So, and it doesn't mean cutting cords doesn't mean that even if you're in a relationship with someone, when you cut cords, it doesn't mean you're going to break up. It just means the energy drainage, the parasitical, where you're sucking each other's energy or giving or leaking into, leaking it into them, that kind of shifts. So it becomes healthier as a result. But if you've broken up with someone and you can't get over them and keep thinking about them, then cutting energy can actually remove the obsession. And still, you don't go onto their WhatsApp and check their photo, go onto their Instagram and keep checking it, because if you keep doing that, it's gonna keep reattaching. So, you know what I'm talking about? All right, so next question. Yes. You will learn about cleaning energy. So, some of you are so intuitive, we're all intuitive, but some people are more intuitive than others, and which means it can also make you quite sensitive to negative energy from your environment. So you actually feel it when someone sends you negative energy. In different cultures, we call it different names. They call it evil eye, psychic attack, psychic hooks, sometimes black magic. Like different cultures have a different name for it, but actually what we're talking about is a negative energy. What we will cover in the Theta Healing Basic course is actually how to release this negative energy from you or from someone else, so that you take more charge and you're more in control of what's going on within you and around you. Yes. And also, you also learn how to release spirits. If you have entity attachments or you feel like entities or spirits are drawn to you, you can release all of that. But I will give you also like a psychology perspective on what this negative energy is and what those spirits mean. It's not always what you think. All right. So what I will do for you, if you have before I'm going to give you guys a meditation. Let's all do a meditation together, and maybe I'll do some downloads. We'll see how we go. Do you have any other questions before I start the meditation? Any other questions? So distant healing, you can learn, And you know what the amazing thing is? One, you're learning a skill that's going to help you heal yourself, help you get to a better place, clearer place. You're going to understand about purpose, about alignment, about getting closer to your true self. How to rewire the brain, reprogramming negative belief systems, how to shift and change your brain waves, how to access the subconscious mind. Like, it's super powerful stuff. You're going to learn how to access your subconscious mind and reprogramming belief systems about money that can change your financial future for the rest of your life. That you can change your belief systems about love that can change your life for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? So about health, about your worth, about confidence, you can change and shift everything. Not so that you can become somebody else, because that's not what we're teaching. We're actually helping you so you can come back to your most natural, authentic version of you, so you can become more of you. And the more creative version of you, the more inspired version of you, the real version of you. And then from that place on, you can create the life you want based on shifting the belief systems based on what you want to attract, right? So, and it can really help you find your purpose, think about purpose. It creates a lot of awareness, and we can help you rewire your brain. You learn how to, download yourself with feelings, but also how to balance hormones. I talk about that, how to balance your left and right brain hemispheres, so you can tap into your logical as well as your emotional capacity and potential. Thank you, Vajiha. All right. So what we will do is, and Erica from Illuminations will send you the course schedule as well. So what we will do is, let's do a meditation so that you can actually experience what I mean when we're connecting to a source energy. And from that place on, I will give you some downloads. So I will ask your permission. Do I have the permission to download you with this, download you with that? Just say yes if you want to receive it. Yeah, so I need your permission for that. Are you guys ready? Hands up. Everybody ready? Let's do this. All right. Yay, cool. All right. And let's do a manifestation. How about that? Let's manifest and visually and feeling wise create what we really want, because we deserve it, okay? And because you deserve it. So, all right, now let's get started. I want you to find a comfortable spot wherever you are. You can lie down or you can sit down, but as long as you can just find some private space and then lie down or sit down, and you can sit on lotus as well. And I just want you to just for a moment connect to your heart. Close your eyes. And now take your awareness into your heart. Center yourself in your heart. And just for a moment, feel what it feels like to be inside of your heart. I want you to take your consciousness, meaning your awareness, all the way into the center of the earth. Imagine traveling all the way into the center of the earth and gather up this beautiful, loving, and nurturing energy from Mother Earth and pull this energy upwards towards your feet. And know that whichever body part this energy touches, it will relax it even further. Now imagine this energy rising over your feet, your ankles, your legs. Imagine it rising all along your spine, out of your crown, into a big, beautiful ball of light. And see yourself in this ball of light and notice the color of the ball. Every time I say up, 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 you will see yourself rising up higher and higher inside of your ball, as if you're traveling up into the sky while you're inside of this ball. Now start going up and up and up. Imagine going through your ceiling, going through the sky. Keep going up higher and higher, and you'll go through the clouds. Imagine going through the clouds. And then you keep going up higher and higher. I want you to imagine going through the atmosphere of the earth. And then you go into space. Keep rising up higher and higher. And then I want you to imagine going through layers and layers of light. Layers and layers of light. You might see some darker lights, and then some lighter lights. And then you'll go through a beautiful golden light, golden like a sun. Keep rising up higher and higher. And then you'll go through a thick jelly-like substance. When you've arrived at this jelly, your ball will dissolve, and in the distance you will see a pearly iridescent white light. I want you to go towards this bright white light. A door will appear in front of it. Open the door and go through it. Go deeper and deeper inside of this white light. The deeper you go, the more relaxed you feel. The more relaxed you feel, the deeper you go. And then say within yourself, I am never separate. I am part of all that is. I am never separate. I am part of all that is. And atomize. Burst into a billion pieces until you become one with this light. So one of the first things that I'm getting while I'm scanning you is like for some of you, you feel quite a little bit lost and you could actually use a little bit of direction in your life. So do I have the permission to download you with what direction feels like? And if you want to accept the download, you can just say yes in your own state, in your own space. And can we download you that you have inner guidance and that you are always guided from within? But can we teach you that you know which guidance to listen to by following the guidance that brings you joy, the guidance that feels light? And can we also teach you what it feels like to feel completely connected to the Creator? You may have a different name for the Creator. Maybe you call it God or Allah or Jesus. It doesn't matter what you call that divinity. But can we teach you that you have this connection to that divine energy of unconditional love and that it's with you always? And would you like to know what it feels like to be completely supported by this energy? And that you always are supported. You just have to be open to it and receive it. And you can even silently in your own mind state that fact to yourself. I am open to receiving guidance. I am open to receiving support. I am open to receiving abundance. And I'm open to receiving love. And can we also download you with what it feels like to live your life without a constant stream of overwhelm, busyness, and excessive thinking and overanalyzing? And that you can just enjoy having peace, having rest, playing, and that life can be about play. And then take a deep breath into this. Now let's play a game. I want you to visualize what you really want, something you've been wanting. And don't feel any shame around it. Just be very courageous, very bold, the boldest you can be. I want you to go big. So I want you to visualize what you want. I want you to see what it looks like. Just create that picture fully. Who is with you in that visualization? Who is joining you in that life? Who are you surrounded with? And what is happening? And how is it making you feel? I want you to imagine yourself walking into it and then feel the feelings of what that would feel like. What having that or being there or experiencing that would feel like. Fully feel it in your body. And then enrich the picture even further. So keep validating, keep re-experiencing this manifestation. So keep feeling what it would feel like. How would you look like? What would you be wearing? Where would you be? Take your time. So now I want you to imagine you are this giant on that white plane where we were at earlier. So remember when we came into that white light. So I want you to imagine yourself in that space of white light, and you're a giant there. And from this space, everything is possible. This is the source of creation. From this space, I want you to look at down to where your life is on earth. And I want you to see it as if it's in like a glass ball, your current life. So as the giant that you are on that seventh plane, on that white energy place with source, you're looking down on your life on earth, how it currently is. And I want you to take that giant arm all the way down into that glass ball, what represents your life. And I want you to start stirring the energy in it. And as you're stirring the energy in your current life, I want you to visualize how the changes are happening into the life that you truly want, into the manifestation that you truly want. And then once you see that visual completely, just like you visualized it earlier, I want you to imagine now entering that life as if it's already yours. So that old life has shifted into the new life and you're walking into it. And again, how would that make you feel? Who are you with? And carry that feeling, and I want you to anchor that feeling and breathe it in into your body. And then you can say silently in your own mind, Creator of all that is, it is commanded that I have this in my life now. Thank you, it is done, it is done, it is done, show me. And then walk into that life, be in that life, become that life as if it's already here. And then you take another deep breath in and feel what it would feel like. Anchor that feeling inside of your body. And then you take a deep breath in. And then when you're ready, you can open up your eyes. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Hajira. That's very sweet. How can we sustain this feeling in daily life? So maintenance, practice, yeah, that's the thing. Like we have to create consistency, right? Consistency. You have to turn something into a habit. Habits is what kind of creates your destiny. Habits is what creates your life. So you kind of have to make it like a daily practice. And one of the things I like to do is like in the morning, I just take a moment to like sit with myself, to tune in what's going on inside of me. And then I'm like, okay, so how do I really want to feel today? And so I make a conscious decision how I really want to feel today. And then I make some practices because, you know, like it's easy to get wrapped up in a drama, and I can get wrapped up too, don't get me wrong. But it's like, I'm just thinking, so I become more conscious. So I'm like, okay, so how do I really want to feel? And if I really want to feel like that, who do I surround myself with? And what are the activities that I do? So I plan my day around how I want to feel. And I also have a new habit right now. It's like where I'm constantly going to be focusing on what's going right. What's going right, what's going right, what's going right, what's going well. So the more I find now myself focusing on what's going right and what I have plenty of and what is going well. I'm constantly in a kind of like exalted, like a bit higher state. And funny enough, some people that I was hanging out with, I don't want to hang out with anymore. Vibration is so, it has an intelligence. So you get yourself into a certain state, your desire for specific people actually starts shifting. You might start want to hang out with different people, and you start being attracted to different people because now it wants a match. Because when you're in misery, often it wants a match too. So there's nothing wrong about negative emotions, guys. I really don't support toxic positivity or anything. So, you know, if you're angry, you should feel your anger. Sadness, you should feel sadness. All these things are very valid. What I'm talking about is sometimes a negative way of being or pattern becomes addictive. It's like an addiction, and you get stuck in that cycle and you can't get out. And some people can't get out. They want to be in that all the time, and they're not doing the work to shift, to evolve, to take accountability. So you're gonna keep going down with that. So that's what we are actually healing in a session. So there's nothing wrong about, you know, feeling negative emotions and stuff. Oh, that's beautiful. What happens if we're dealing with an atheist? What supernatural power do you refer to? Well, even an atheist, you can say, do you believe in like the universe, in consciousness? You know what I mean? Do you believe that there is an energy that connects us all? So sometimes people just don't believe in a religion as a system, but they often do believe that there is something bigger, there is an intelligent energy. So generally, we just like adapt our language based on also what's in front of us and who's in front of us. And if they don't, then that's fine too. Like we respect other people's beliefs, right? Like if they're atheists, then and they don't want to heal through something like a connection, an energy like that, then I might even say, what if that energy is within you? Do you believe that there is, you know, like I would turn it back into them, because sometimes they believe that energy exists within them. So be curious, ask them, you know, ask them what, you know, if they believe in a divine energy, if they believe the energy is within them, if they believe in a universe, kind of like that. All right, lovelies, thank you for joining today, and thank you for sharing your energy and spending this time with me. And I hope to see you guys, and have a wonderful evening.